Welcome to The Explainer. So if privacy is your thing, you've probably found yourself stuck right in the middle of this massive, ongoing debate. I mean, which messaging app should you actually be using? Millions of people literally argue about this every single day. Some people absolutely swear by WhatsApp, others say Signal is the only way to go, and a huge chunk of folks believe Telegram is completely encrypted from top to bottom. But to really figure out what's going on here, I want you to picture a real-world scenario with me. Okay, imagine three friends. Alice uses Signal, Bob uses WhatsApp, and Charlie uses Telegram. All three of them type out the exact same message, project meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m., and they hit send. And, each message reaches its destination perfectly. From the user's perspective, nothing seems different at all, right? So naturally, we end up asking that eternal debate question: which app is more secure? But today, we're going to do something different. We are dropping those simple labels. Instead of just asking which app is the safest, we're going to adopt what I call an engineer's mindset. We need to ask a much better question. How does each app actually protect your messages, and what are the specific, under-the-hood design trade-offs they've made?
Okay, let's dive into this because on the surface, the user experience is identical. You unlock your phone, you type a quick text, you hit that little blue or green send button, and the message just goes through. But from an engineer's perspective, behind the scenes, these security architectures are radically different. Some of these apps lock down and encrypt your messages before they even leave your phone. Others actually store extra synchronization data right on their servers. And some even require you to manually dig into the settings to turn on stronger protection.
So, to truly grasp this, we're going to break down the anatomy of a message's life cycle step by step. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, core encryption. Number 2, servers and sync. Number 3, cloud backups. Number 4, the metadata trail. And finally, number 5, the real vulnerability. Let's start right in with part 1, core encryption. Let's look at exactly how your messages are handled in transit. Just to keep things simple, every messaging system basically runs on the same core architecture. You've got the sender's device, the absolute wild west of the internet, the messaging server sitting in the middle, and finally, the recipient's device. And, lurking somewhere out there in the middle is a potential attacker, right? People always think they need to worry about being intercepted like some spy in an action movie. An attacker's goal is always the same: read your messages, mess with the conversation, or just hoard your info. But here is the secret. The actual role of that server in the middle, it changes dramatically depending on which app you decide to use. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the fundamental design philosophies of each app are totally revealed just by looking at their default settings. Signal encrypts every single personal conversation by default, right there on your device, before it ever hits the internet. WhatsApp operates the exact same way for personal chats. It uses strict end-to-end encryption right out of the box. That means their servers literally just forward the encrypted gibberish. They don't hold the keys to unlock it. But look at Telegram over there. Telegram's default is cloud chats, not end-to-end encryption. And that brings us to a rapid-fire security check, because this is honestly one of the biggest myths in the entire privacy world. Does installing Telegram automatically give you end-to-end encryption? Let's clear this up once and for all. The answer is a hard no. Regular Telegram chats are indeed encrypted between your device and Telegram's servers, but Telegram itself stores the keys and information needed to sync those chats across your devices. If you want true end-to-end encryption on Telegram, you have to explicitly start a secret chat. You literally have to push a button to turn it on. That is a massive architectural difference compared to Signal and WhatsApp. If you're discussing highly sensitive stuff, you absolutely must know which type of chat you're actually using. Moving right along to part 2, servers and sync. To understand why Telegram made that specific design choice, we have to look at the ultimate engineering trade-off. It's convenience versus privacy architecture. Telegram heavily prioritizes seamless multi-device convenience. Their cloud chat architecture makes hopping between your phone, your iPad, and your laptop just incredibly smooth, mostly because those regular conversations are living on their cloud infrastructure. On the flip side, Signal and WhatsApp prioritize strict end-to-end encryption. Now, they still let you link devices, sure, but it requires the super secure, strict device linking process to maintain that end-to-end protection. And honestly, that is way more complex to pull off behind the scenes. That takes us to section 3, cloud backups. Okay, so it's one thing to send a message securely today, but what happens, say, a year from now when you drop your phone in a lake, buy a new one, and want to restore your chat history? The crucial thing to remember here is this: message encryption and backup encryption are two completely different beasts. A message can be perfectly secure while it's zipping across the internet, but if your cloud backup isn't protected the exact same way, well, all that transit security basically goes out the window. So let's break down how each app handles the whole backup shebang. Signal is built to minimize cloud dependence entirely. Their whole philosophy is keeping as much sensitive info under your direct control as possible. WhatsApp is actually really fascinating here. They do offer end-to-end encrypted backups, but, and this is a huge caveat, guys, you must manually go into the settings and enable them. If you don't flip that switch, your backup protection is completely dependent on your regular cloud provider, like Apple iCloud or Google Drive. And what about Telegram? Well, those regular chats sync natively through their own cloud. But remember those ultra-secure secret chats we talked about? Those are strictly device-specific. They do not sync to the Telegram cloud at all. Let's dive into Section 4, the metadata trail. So far, we've talked about the content of your messages. Now we are moving beyond that to the invisible data that surrounds them. I want you to think of metadata like mailing a physical sealed letter. Nobody can read the letter itself. The end-to-end encryption seals it completely shut. But a mail carrier, or honestly anyone just watching, can still look at the outside of that envelope. And here's the kicker. Even without reading a single word of your actual message, that envelope reveals some highly sensitive information. It shows exactly who sent the message, who received it, when it was sent, and, maybe most importantly, how often you two are exchanging letters. Listen, metadata is not the same as message content, for sure. But over time, these patterns paint an incredibly detailed picture of your daily life and your relationships. Which brings us to another rapid-fire security check, because we really need to address some widespread confusion here. People ask this all the time. Can WhatsApp read my personal end-to-end encrypted chat messages? The definitive answer is no, absolutely not. WhatsApp states very clearly they cannot read the contents of your personal messages, mostly because they just don't possess the decryption keys to do it. However, their big architectural trade-off is that they collect more operational metadata than an app like Signal. Why? Well, they need it to manage their massive global ecosystem. Signal's fundamental design philosophy is all about minimizing metadata collection wherever it's humanly possible. WhatsApp, on the other hand, is balancing cool features for billions of users worldwide, and that simply requires more of that envelope data just to keep the lights on and the servers running at that crazy scale. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the real vulnerability. We spend this whole time talking about servers, metadata, and transit encryption, but here is the ultimate twist. Modern cryptography is incredibly strong, like almost unbreakable. I want you to think like a hacker for just a second. Breaking modern end-to-end encryption while a message is in transit just isn't practical. You aren't going to easily forge those cryptographic protections. So if the encryption itself is a solid steel vault, where is the weakest link? Where would an attacker actually strike? The answer is the endpoint. And by endpoint, I mean your actual device, your phone. It literally doesn't matter how secure the messaging application is while the text is flying through the air. Once that message lands safely on your phone, legitimately decrypts, and pops up so you can read it on your screen, well, the security of your physical device becomes the single most critical factor. An attacker isn't going to break the math. They're going to use spyware. They'll use phishing links to steal your authentication codes. They'll use social engineering. Or they'll just exploit a super weak device password to unlock your phone while you aren't looking. This quote right here just perfectly summarizes everything we've talked about today. Strong cryptography protects communication. Users must still protect their devices. No app architecture, whether we're talking about Signal's minimal metadata, WhatsApp's massive global scale, or Telegram's smooth cloud flexibility, none of it can save a compromised endpoint. If malware gets on your device after the messages are already decrypted, the attacker wins. It's game over. So we end with this. Real security isn't about just slapping simple labels like completely secure or completely insecure onto an app. It's about understanding the architecture. As we've seen, Signal optimizes for strict privacy. WhatsApp optimizes for secure communication at a massive global scale, and Telegram optimizes for speed and multi-device convenience. Now that you're armed with the engineer's mindset, I want to leave you with this final, empowering question. Which of these architectural trade-offs actually aligns with your specific privacy needs? Think deeply about what you are sending, who you are sending it to, and which tool is actually built for your exact reality. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep thinking like an engineer.